incredible, do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm serious. You think I could have done that without you standing next to me being strong? Are you feeling this? Are you feeling the cause I'm feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm cold.
You cold?
Yeah.
Let's get to Virginia, man.
Hey, my name is Madison. I'm with MHP Pictures. I have some guys that help me out with film sometimes. Nate on my right and Tim on my left.
Have a nice.
And have a nice day. And today we're going to be reviewing Good Time. Good Time is a film that it's not very clear in the trailers, but it's basically a film about Robert Pattinson's character named Connie, and is kind of mentally
retarded. They basically call it retarded.
Yeah, his retarded brother, who are bank robbers, and when things go wrong and his brother gets arrested and put in jail, Connie's goal is to now break his brother out of jail, and the story of that. We saw him on Friday over at the Grand. I guess, what was y'all's initial thoughts about it?
Well, my initial thought about it was that I had no idea what it was going into it. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't even hear about the movie the day before. So I was going into it pretty blind. And initial thoughts leaving the theater was that it was a pretty underwhelming experience for me. I mean, I knew it was Robert Pattinson's one of his first really big roles, aside from all the stuff that he did with the franchises that he's known for. And I guess I was excited to see what he was capable of, but at the end of the day, I left pretty underwhelmed.
What about you, Nate?
Well, similar to Tim, I came into the experience not knowing anything about the film. I hadn't seen any trailers or anything like that beforehand, but I did come out the theater not disappointed. I was excited to see what Madison would bring to the table after, being attached to the Twilight series. But I think
masterpiece.
I think that he did an excellent job kind of shedding the Twilight persona, I would say, with this movie. And
He was much less in the Twilight franchise. He was the dreamboat guy that all the girls wanted to date. This was definitely the complete opposite. I would say. Yeah, I would not let anyone, if I had a daughter, I would not let her anywhere near this guy.
Definitely polar opposites in these two movies. The story, kind of the minute details or the backing plot that really drove the story forward, I thought was actually an excellent idea to make a movie out of, considering not too many stories about brothers, being their brother's keeper in this case.
Especially in a crime setting like that.
Exactly.
Because you see those wannabe heartfelt movies, Forrest Gump's a really good movie, but you see knockoffs of that where it's here's a mentally handicapped kid and we're gonna take care of him, and it's supposed to be pulling at heartstrings.
Yeah.
But here's a good example of that, but put in this very cringy, more cynical realism type setting than the other ones.
Definitely. I was telling myself after the movie that this was kind of a weird take on the concept, being that Nico and Connie thought that they were the best thing for each other. As the movie progresses, you see that even though in their heart of hearts that they really want to believe that they're the best option for each other, mostly in Connie's case, thinking that he's the only one that can take care of his brother properly, that it's not the case, really.
I was probably the one who knew the most about the movie going into it, I think, out of our group of friends actually saw it, because I watched multiple trailers. I didn't really know too much about behind the scenes stuff, but I knew the trailers pretty well. I mean, everyone knew Robert Pattinson was in it. That was a big pull, I think, for a lot of audience members. But also one thing that really convinced me to see, which may have been a dumb reason, was The Weeknd posted about it on his Instagram. And I could see why he posted about it, because he saw it And then immediately afterwards, there were multiple posts praising Good Time and saying how it's like such a phenomenal film. And I was like, okay, I love The Weeknd and I love his music. I'm gonna go check this film out. Leaving the theater, I can definitely see why he enjoyed it. It definitely seems like a movie that if The Weeknd wasn't a musician and a filmmaker instead, this would be like his film.
Yeah.
This maybe not in terms of quality. Maybe The Weeknd wouldn't be a good filmmaker, but like in terms of genre and everything, music, themes, aesthetic, cinematography, yeah. I kind of was disappointed. I kind of lean more towards Tim on that side. I was expecting a lot more. Nika was probably one of the best parts of the movie. Funny thing too is that the actor who played Nika was actually one of the directors, the
Safdie brothers.
Safdie brothers.
Yeah, the Safdie brothers.
And I didn't know that, but he was really good at like playing the mentally handicapped guy. And legitimately, whenever I first saw the character, I was like, how did they get this handicapped guy?
Yeah, he was really good. I felt like he was one of the stronger points of the movie.
But he didn't show up a lot.
Exactly, and that's like one of the more problematic things about this movie. I felt like they had really odd choices going into the writing of it, and it was just very unpredictable, which I feel like they could have used to their benefit. It was an incredibly wild ride, and it was a very unpredictable, just crazy movie, but I feel like that wasn't their strong point. The first 15 minutes really did grasp me. The first 20 to 15 minutes had my attention completely, and it was because of Benny Safdie, who was playing Nico. He was incredible, you know. I really felt he really sold the mentally handicapped brother to me, at least. I really liked his character and liked what he did as far as the acting side of it goes. But then after the first 20 minutes of the movie, he's kind of non-existent, and it's more just about Connie trying to get his brother, who we were introduced to, but I felt like that character wasn't fleshed out enough, in my opinion.
Definitely, I feel like the writing was at least.
Yeah, I would think the writing was probably the weak point of the movie.
Yeah, that was the weak point of the film. Yeah. The production quality, though, was amazing. I thought the lighting was really good. I think we disagreed about the music choice. I really liked the music choice because it had like an 80s kind of synth vibe to it, which kind of fit really well with the neo-noir aesthetic. I guess what was your take on that?
I mean, the score was kind of... It kind of just didn't register with me at all. It wasn't like anything that I particularly cared for, and then a couple of songs towards the end really had me...
I think really the only music choice that bothered me was the very end, where like, I've mentioned this multiple times by now. I think Iggy Pop is on it with the composer of the majority of the music, and to me it really sounds like Goofy singing a song, and it sounds like a really old depressed Goofy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I didn't have that many problems with the performances, like, in play. You know, Robert Pattinson, Benny Safdie, and the guy from Captain Phillip. What's his name? The black guy who was the security guard.
Oh, I don't know who you're talking about, but like, yeah.
Like, even he was good.
Was he the guy from the memes where it's like, look at me?
Yeah.
I am the captain.
Yeah, he is.
He's the I am the captain now guy, if y'all are wondering. Look at me. I am the captain.
And I enjoyed their performances. Like, I enjoyed the cast as a whole. I believe the 16-year-old girl was this is actually her like film debut. I remember seeing that in the credits, and I was impressed by her. Like, she was good, but the writing did her no favors. It did Robert Pattinson no favors.
Her character really did seem kind of just like a plot device, very lackluster. Kind of just there to help the protagonist along his way, and that's it. Like, there was no personality really. Not really a lot fleshed out. There were some attempts, but not... Okay, so overall, like, great performance on all of them, but just the writing itself for the characters, I thought was lackluster.
For me, personally, one of my favorite parts of the movie was the lighting and the coloring in the set pieces.
The cinematography was really good.
It was really well edited as a whole.
Yes, definitely.
I do like the editing.
I really enjoyed how they used film instead of, digital.
Yeah.
And that made it feel really, really good and like
Maybe.
warm. And
It was gritty. It was a very
Yeah, it
gritty
gave it a
movie.
way more gritty vibe.
definitely it added
And
to
see,
that.
that's why I like this sound, because like I thought it was kind of really going for like a neo-80s noir vibe. Which
Yeah, I
I
feel
feel like the 80s, according to, through Hollywood's eyes at least, was this very gritty, like just dirty, crime-ridden time of America.
it
Which I don't think it was.
I mean, it depends on where you're looking at.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Miami. Oh my God.
And they were in New
it's
York
just-
City.
It's
after all.
interesting, but yeah, it's just interesting looking at how like whenever a film director wants to give you like a gritty sort of like neo-noir look, these are sort of like the steps they take.
Yeah.
You know, the sort of like just the cliches.
Like
almost.
grungy keys.
Yeah.
Synths. Yeah. Interestingly enough, you guys were saying it's New York and it's like 80s vibes. I read somewhere where they were trying to channel like 70s crime dramas like Scorsese in this movie, and like in the article, pre-gentrification New York by filming on the outskirts of town. So like on the outskirts of the boroughs, and especially in Queens is what they said, and that's really where the Safdie brothers like to film. All of their movies so far have been filmed in New York.
I actually saw a featurette where they explained the Safdie brothers that they wanted to really kind of capture the essence of New York, and they actually filmed on location in like multiple different boroughs, and they wanted people from New York to look at the film and think like, yeah, that's our home. Like those are recognizable spots. So I thought that was really cool. Overall, I felt like the filmmakers did accomplish their job in making an interesting film. I thought it's definitely something that if you watch, you're not going to be mad at seeing, but I don't know if it's worth to go see at the theaters. In conclusion, my personal opinion, y'all can definitely chime in. I wouldn't really go out of my way to see it again in theaters, and I don't know if it would really be worth it to spend the money even for a first time, but definitely if you have some free time, go check it out like after it comes out on DVD or something, or on Netflix or on TV even. Yeah, okay film, not something I would really suggest like you have to go see that.
Yeah, I'd say my final thoughts on the movie and my recommendation would be, I really wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone unless you're like super curious about Robert Pattinson. I feel like that was like the main selling point of the movie to a lot of people, was that it's Robert Pattinson. And if you're curious about Robert Pattinson and what he can do outside of Twilight, then yeah, go see it, because he's a capable actor and he's really talented, and I saw glimmers of that in this movie, but it wasn't enough to carry the movie into something that I, like in its entirety. I thought the writing was weak. I liked the performances, but it just really collapsed under the weaknesses of the writing, and because of that, I really don't recommend it. I would say save your money until it comes out on a streaming service.
I mean, save your money for the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, Nate, your final thoughts.
Touching on what Tim said again about Robert Pattinson, he definitely came into his own as a post-Twilight actor, trying not
He was a survivor.
to be thought of as, Edward Cullen. I thought he did an exceptional job of performing with what he was given. I agree that it was definitely like not the strongest writing, but I've definitely seen weaker writing from movies with higher praise, I guess you would say. It all depends on personal preferences if you would want to go spend your money to go see this in theaters. Me personally, I would definitely go see it again in theaters, not for anything other than visuals in the movie. I thought the visuals were excellent, especially with the coloring. I'm a big fan of creative coloring in movies, and they did a really, really good job on this movie with incorporating big contrast on colors in changing environments and stuff like that. The movie did a really good job at making me angry at what the characters were doing, because Connie did increasingly stupid things to try to break Nick out of the hospital he was in, it made me angrier every time he did something. It escalated. The situation escalated.
Yeah. That's why I think the directors actually ended up doing a really good job, because the whole point in, I think, their view and in the view should be seen is that if you go see it, it is not a stereotypical like heartwarming hero type
Not
movie.
at all.
You're supposed to be like watching almost kind of like through the bad guy's perspective in a way.
I felt I was watching in terror most of the time. Another absolutely strong point was the very end of the film. Without giving away too much, I started tearing up at the very end. For me, it would be definitely recommended if you're really interested in visuals. I think this is definitely a movie you should go see in theaters, because I don't think seeing it on the television would do it any justice.
Be good.